everyone. This is Professor Megha Joshi this side. I welcome you all on behalf of JK Shah classes. Today's video is about CA Inter November 22 RTP. Indirect taxes. Now, the RTP is based on mainly all the amendments. So, whatever amendments we have already discussed, we will have questions on this. Okay. So, if you have not watched amendment video, please do watch that first and then you can come to this video. Okay, let us start. Messrs. Delight Brothers, a partnership firm engaged in restaurant business. Now, as you are understanding that we have 10 questions, out of which first 5 questions is MCQ, and MCQ is based on this case study. So, case study, how will you think while you reading the case study, that you need to learn, okay? First of all, okay, Messrs. Delight Brothers partnership firm engage in restaurant business, okay? It is registered under composition levy, okay, so 5% rate. This is how you have to understand. Under section 10(1) and 10(2) of the CGST Act 2017 for the current financial year. Its turnover in the state for the month of April was 12 lakh. Okay, 12 lakh. What would be tax liability? 12 lakh into 5%. Actually 2.5% CGST, 2.5% SGST. Total 60,000. Correct? Okay. It received new orders in the month of May to run a mess facility for supplying food at Vishwas Public School, a higher secondary school. Wait, canteen facility at school is exempt, na? So, this transaction is exempt. Okay. Knowledge Institute of Technology and Engineering College approved by AICTE and UGC. This is nowhere exempt. This is taxable. Frontline Hospital. Services to hospital is nowhere exempt except in one case. So, it is taxable. It also provides catering services to Coral Limited Company for their annual general meeting. Okay. Services was provided on 3rd July, but invoice was not issued by the firm to the company. Okay. However, payment was received on 25th July, for which bank account was credited on 28th July. Don't you think it is related to time of supply? Under time of supply of service, because it is service, invoice must be issued within 30 days or 45 days. Now, this is catering service. So, invoice must be issued within 30 days from date of supply of service. But you can see there is no invoice issued. So, answer would be date of provision of service or date of payment, whichever is earlier would be your time of supply. So, service is 3rd July, payment is 25th and 20th, whichever is earlier, 3rd July would be your time of supply. This is all, I am just assuming that this can be there. Huh? Now, question answer will come later. Now, the turnover of restaurant business for the current financial year is 48 lakh. Okay. From the inception of the next financial year, Messrs. Delight Brothers will close down the restaurant business and will provide service of repairing of air conditioner. Wait, restaurant business, if they close down, now they are not eligible for composition scheme anymore, huh? But wait, they can opt for composition scheme of service provider under section 10(2)(a). You remember? So, 10(2)(a), but for that your turnover of previous financial year should not exceed 50 lakh. Over here, oh, it is under 50 lakh. Hence, they are eligible for composition scheme for service provider under 10(2)(a), but not for composition scheme anymore. Messrs. Delight Brothers undertakes intrastate transaction. Now, this is important. Intrastate, that is why they are opting for composition scheme, because those who are engaged in interstate, they are not allowed composition scheme, correct? Based on the information given above, Choose the most appropriate answer for the following question. Now, ready? Answer. Compute the tax liability of Messrs. Delight Brothers for the month of April. Oh, we have already computed 60,000. So, over here CGST and SGST 30,000 each. Correct? Everybody understood? 2.5% CGST, 2.5% SGST, total 60. That is 30 each. Okay, next. Out of new orders received by the firm in May, which of the following services are exempt from GST? Service provided to Vishwas Public School, this is exempt. Service provided to Knowledge Institute of Technology, this is taxable. Service provided to Frontline Hospital, this is taxable. Hence your answer would be 1. C. I hope you are with me. Next. Time of supply of catering service provided to Coral Limited Company would be 3rd July. We just solved, correct? Over here, this provision. So, as you can understand, first information, first paragraph, first information, and they have given a question. Second para, they have given second question. Third para, they have given third question. Not always will be like this, but in this case, it is like this. Next. Which of the following statement is most appropriate in respect of next financial year for Messrs. Delight Brothers? Messrs. Delight Brothers can continue to avail composition levy scheme under section 10(1) and 10(2) of CGST Act. This is wrong, na? They cannot avail composition levy because now they have opted for repairing service instead of restaurant. So this is wrong. Messrs. Delight Brothers is not eligible to avail composition levy scheme under section 10(1) and 10(2). 10 subsection 1, 10 subsection 2, but we'll say 10(1), 10(2) of the CGST Act. This is correct. But wait, Messrs. Delight Brothers is not eligible to avail composition levy scheme under section 10(1) and 10(2) of CGST Act, but can avail benefit of composition levy under section 10(2)(a). This is most appropriate. As you can understand, B is also correct, C is also correct, but C is most appropriate and they have asked for most appropriate. Hence your answer would be C. Let us check D also. Messrs. Delight Brothers can neither avail composition levy scheme under 10(1), 10(2) nor under section 10(2). This is wrong. So hence your answer C is correct. Next. Rate of GST applicable for services of repairing of air conditioner made by Messrs. Delight Brothers will be dash, assuming that it intends to pay the tax at the minimum rate available. A minimum means they are opting for composition scheme for services. For them, rate is 6%. Yes, hence your answer would be 6%. Now 6% is effective rate. Alright, and 5 questions are done. Question number 6. All eyes here. Pay attention. Neelkant Private Limited, a registered supplier of goods and service at Kolkata, has furnished the following information for the month of February. Neelkant is private limited. Where it is registered? Kolkata. Okay. And furnished following information for the month of February. Okay. Intra-state supply of taxable goods, including rupee 1 lakh, received as advance in January. The invoice for the entire sale value is issued on 15th Feb. They are supplier of goods. If they are supplier of goods, don't you think what would be your time of supply? Your date of payment can never be your time of supply. Your time of supply would be date of issue of invoice or last day to issue invoice under section 31, whichever is earlier. You remember? Yes. So over here for 1 lakh also, your answer would be 15th Feb only, and hence on 4 lakh you have to calculate rate. Now on 4 lakh what rate will be applicable? First you always find rate. Rate of CGST, SGST, IGST 18%. Okay, what they have actually asked? They have asked to compute minimum GST payable in cash. Whenever they ask minimum GST payable in cash, your answer will always be in Three steps. Three steps. How will you calculate 8-mark compulsory question? You will always get 8-mark question in your IDT paper. So, how will you calculate? Always in 3 steps. Step 1 is computation of output tax liability. Okay, so first let us compute that. If 4 lakh multiplied by 99% because it is intrastate, so 4 lakh into 9%, 36,000. Okay. Now I have kept format ready so that we don't waste much of time. But this is how you can solve. Computation of output tax liability is your step 1, in which serial number, particulars, CGST, SGST, IGST, I have written 9918. Why? Because in entire sum only one rate is there. If you have another rate like mixed supply, composite supply element is there, another rate, then you don't write 9918, okay? First, intrastate supply of goods for 4 lakh, answer would be 36,000. Nothing over here. Okay, next. Purchase of goods from a composition dealer registered in Kolkata. E-purchase it is, huh? You will get ITC on this? No ITC because in purchase, no ITC because when you purchase from composition dealer, you don't pay anything, na? So hence no ITC. Next, service is provided by way of labor contracts for repairing a single residential unit, otherwise then as a part of residential complex. It is intrastate transaction. Ma'am, this is exempt. It looks like exempt, correct? But, wait. Services provided by way of labor contract for repairing. If you have understood the provision or remembered the provision, then it was written that pure labor contracts of construction, erection, commissioning, installation of single residential unit, otherwise then as a part of residential complex of original works, then only it was exempt. Repairing service was not exempt. So hence this is taxable. Be very careful. This is taxable, people. Hence your answer would be, this is intrastate. Yes, so again 99%. So 9,000. Service provided by way of labor contracts for repairing a single residential unit, otherwise then as a part of residential contracts, answer would be 1 lakh into 9%, 99,000, correct? Okay. I have written note. How will you write notes? See, in your RTP notes are written, but in that they have written notification, this, that. How can you simply write notes? I have given you over here. For first, as per section 12 of CGST Act 2017, time of supply in case of goods. Time of supply in case of goods is section 12. Time of supply of service is under section 13. Over here we are talking about goods, hence section 12. Under forward charge mechanism is earlier of the date of invoice or last date on which invoice ought to have been issued in terms of section 31. Don't forget to write section 31 because invoice is issued under section 31 as per section 31. Na? Please never forget section 31. Thus, liability to pay tax on advance received in Jan will also arise in the month of Feb when invoice is issued. That was your note 1. And note 2 is service by way of pure labor contracts of construction, erection, commissioning or installation of original work pertaining to single residential unit, otherwise then as a part of residential complex, are exempt. Wide notification number 12/2017. Ma'am, do we have to remember notification number? Listen, in your all exemption provision, your notification number 12/2017 exists. So you can write only one notification. When did your CGST Act come into force? 2017. So only you have to remember 12/2017. Labor contracts for repairing are thus taxable. Can you see the underline? In exam, you will write with only one pen. So please make sure what is your answer and what is your referring to. In notes, you have to underline. If you have written any section, you can underline. Okay. Next. Membership of a club availed for employees working in the factory. It is an intrastate transaction. Membership of a club availed. Availed means you have obtained, purchase it is, but club membership is blocked na. So ITC is not allowed. It is blocked under section 17(5). Okay. Goods transport services received from goods transport agency. They have written GTA, so you can also use this short form to write in notes. GST is payable at 12%. Hello. If JTI is paying, Goods Transport Agency, we call it JTIA. Okay. If GTA is paying 12%, then it was not under RCM. It was under forward charge mechanism. You remember? If GTA is paying tax at 12%, it was under forward charge mechanism. So RCM is not applicable over here. You don't have to pay tax. But will you get ITC? Of course, it is nowhere blocked. So ITC is allowed. And how much percentage? How much percentage it is allowed? Obviously 12%. Na? The rate will differ over here. 12%. And this is interstate, so you will take entire 12%. Next, interstate service provided by way of training in recreational activities relating to sports. Ma'am, we have studied somewhere this is exempt. Okay. It was exempt only when training in recreational activity relating to sports provided by charitable organization or charitable trust registered under section 12AA of Income Tax Act. You remember? Over here, who is supplier? Neelkant Private Limited. They have not mentioned that they are registered under 12AA of Income Tax Act. That means they are not charitable trust. So over here, even this transaction is taxable, and this is inter or intra? Inter. So 18%. Okay. Interstate service provided by way of training in recreational activity relating to sports. It is taxable, and 10,000 was the amount, correct? 10,000 into 18%, everyone. 1800. Let's see note. Service by way of training and coaching in recreational activities relating to sports is exempt. Under GST, wide notification number same 12/2017. Ma'am, if we don't have to write or don't want to write notification number, then no problem. You can only write exempt under GST. That would also suffice. Only if provided by charitable entities registered under section 12AA of Income Tax Act. Thus, in the given case, said service is taxable. Now, we are not writing any answer to the question. We are writing note. Note is part of an answer. So, now, first you write provision, then you write the given case, this would be happen. But over here, you can use directly in the given case, said service is taxable. Now, again, you don't have to write what is the service. Okay. This is how you can save your time. Next. Interstate Security Service provided to ABC Higher Secondary School for their annual day function organized in Fintech's auditorium outside the school campus. Hello. Actually, this is exempt, but they said outside the school campus. Then it is taxable, because if you provide service to school, which service? Security service to school, obviously within the school campus was exempt. Over here outside the school campus it is taxable, and if it is taxable interstate, so 18%, 15,000 into 18%, people tell me, 2,700. Okay, let's see note. Security service provided to ABC Higher Secondary School for annual day function organized outside the school campus. Now this 3-line ditto copy paste from question only, will be taxable as only the security service performed within the premises of the school are exempt under GST. Okay. Now there are two ways to write notes. You must be knowing. One, you can write inside the table below your provision, or you can write after the table. So this is also taxable. Now, inputs to be received in 4 lots, out of which second lot was received during the month. During the month means February. Tell me whether you will get ITC? No, because ITC will be received upon receipt of last lot or installment. Then only you are eligible for ITC, correct? Hence over here, no ITC. Okay. Next, the company has following ITC with it at the beginning of the tax period. That means this is opening balance. Okay. Rates of CGST, SGST, IGST are 9, 9, 18%. Both inward and outward supplies are exclusive of taxes wherever applicable. All the conditions necessary for availing ITC have been fulfilled. Turnover of Nilkant Private Limited was 2.5 crore in the previous financial year. Compute minimum GST payable in cash by Nilkant Private Limited for the month of February. Now 2.5 crore means greater than 1.5 crore. That means they are not eligible for composition scheme, correct? Okay, normal scheme. We have computed output tax liability. Now no more information regarding sales, correct? So let us close this. Total how much? 36 plus 9, 45,000. CGST 45,000, SGST, and over here 1800 plus 2,700, 4,500. Total GST payable is 45, 45, 4,500. Step 1 is done. We have calculated our output tax liability along with notes. Now step 2 is computation of eligible ITC. Let's see what is eligible. Everyone, purchase of goods from composition. This is not eligible. Okay. So first of all you have to write opening balance. Opening balance is CGST 57,000 and IGST 50,000. That we have already written. Now add purchase of goods from a composition dealer. Nil. Nothing is allowed because no tax is payable on the goods purchased from composition dealer. Now in this case, I have written note below the provision only. You can write like this also. Next, purchase membership. Membership of a club, it is blocked, correct? Membership of a club, ITC is blocked under section 17(5), hence nil. Next, purchase information is goods. Goods transport service received from GTA, GST is payable at 12%. In exam, notes are very, very important. You can't skip notes, otherwise you will not get marks. So please be very, very careful while writing notes. Goods transport service received from GTA. How will you write? As per section 9(3) of CGST Act 2017. If you don't remember section, don't write. Don't write wrong section. Just write as per provision of CGST Act, okay? GST is payable by recipient of service of goods transport agency when it was received from GTA and GTA is not charging 12%. Not charging 12%, then only it will come under RCM. And recipient is one of the specified recipient. Since in the given case GTA is charging 12%, reverse charge mechanism is not applicable. Also, ITC is available for the service received from GTA. ITC is nowhere blocked, hence it is available. And it was interstate, correct? Yes. Hence, 2 lakh into 12%, how much? 24,000, correct? Next. Now, the directly fourth one, correct? Because these two are sales. Input to be received in 4 lots, out of which second lot was received during the month. No ITC will be applicable or allowed. Input received in 4 lots, out of which second lot was received during the month. In case of goods received in lots, ITC can be taken upon receipt of last lot. Hence, no ITC. So, total would be 57,000-74,000. Now, the main step comes at the last. They have asked minimum GST payable in cash. So, your third step would always be whatever they have asked. If they have written minimum GST payable in cash, write minimum GST payable in cash. Okay. If they have written GST payable, net GST payable, write net GST payable. Step 3, computation of minimum GST payable. In that, how will you calculate? Everyone pay attention. Your output tax liability will come from step 1. That is 45, 45, 4,500. Can you see the step 1's answer? 45, 45, 4,500. So that you have to just copy, paste. Okay. Now you have to set off. How will you set off? First, you will take IGST credit. You have 74,000 available, but you have to pay only 4,500. IGST credit first be set off against IGST. So, let me put 4,500 over here. Okay. Out of 74,000, if 4,500 gone, then 69,500 will remain. Out of 69,500, you have to allot to CGST and SGST. How will you allot? Very, very, very important. Generally, students do that half-half. Listen, student, if you do half-half, then what will happen? 34,750 here, 34,750 here. Then, just see, do you have sufficient balance under ITC of CGST? Yes. Do you have any balance under ITC of SGST? No. So, if you allot half-half, then you will have SGST payable and CGST payable nil. Then you understand, you are a chartered accountant, you can't do loss to your clients. So, think like a chartered accountant. How will you bifurcate this 69,500 balance? Because you can bifurcate between CGST, SGST in any manner. So, in a manner which minimize the cash outflow. This is how you have to bifurcate. So, 69,500, let me put entire 45,000 over here. Why? Because SGST don't have their sufficient balance. Hence, this would be 1, this would be 2. Now, still you will have something, na? 24,500. So, I will give 24,500 to CGST. Correct? Next, ITC of CGST against CGST. So, how much is available? 57. But don't write entire 57. 45,000 minus 24,500. 20,500 only needed. So, write only 20,500. So, over here answer would be nil, nil, nil. and minimum GST payable in cash is nil. Ma'am, why can't we write negative over here? You cannot write because they have asked you minimum GST payable. So there is nothing payable. You can't say negative payable. Are you with me? So first mistake you have to avoid, don't write negative over here. Ma'am, why can't we, carry forward this 24,000 of IGST under IGST? That is not allowed. Always remember, when you have sufficient balance in IGST, you have to exhaust IGST entirely. Even if you have sufficient balance under CGST, still you have to allot to CGST the excess balance of IGST because you have to exhaust IGST completely. So, 74,000 I have to utilize. So, I have utilized. First, I have to obviously give to IGST. Then balance I have to utilize in a way so that my client gets benefit. So, 45,000 entirely to SGST and then whatever is remaining I have allotted to CGST. Okay everyone, this is the answer and you get your entire 8 marks if you write like this. Okay. Let us check. See, nil, nil, nil. That's it. Next. Question number 7. Rimjim Sales, a registered supplier, receives 100 invoices for inward supply of goods or service. Pay attention, it is an amendment. Pay attention. Involving GST of 10 lakh from various suppliers during the month of January 2022. Out of 100 invoices, details of 80 invoices involving GST of 6 lakh have been furnished by the supplier in the respective GSTR 1s filed on the prescribed due date. Therefore, and such details have also been duly communicated to recipient of such invoices in form GSTR 2B. Okay. Compute the ITC that can be claimed by Rimjim Sales in GSTR 3B for the month of Jan 22 to be filed on 20th Feb, assuming that GST of 10 lakh is otherwise eligible for ITC. Now, earlier you can take 100% of 6 lakh because the details are already uploaded by supplier in GSTR 1 and communicated to recipient in GSTR 2B. And you could also get 5% extra which was eligible, that is 6 lakh into 5%. Now this has been amended and they have said if your supplier have uploaded the invoices in GSTR 1 and communicated to recipient in 2B, then only you are eligible for ITC, otherwise nothing is eligible. So, now after amendment, you can only get 6 lakh, nothing else. Okay. So, let's see the answer. How they have written. ITC to be claimed by Rimjim Sales in its GSTR 3B for the month of Jan to be filed by 20th Feb will be computed as under. Invoices. Amount of ITC involved in the invoices and amount of ITC that can be availed. 80 invoices furnished in GSTR 1, 6 lakh, entire 6 lakh is eligible. Refer note 1. 100% of ITC can be claimed on invoices furnished by the supplier in their GSTR 1. 20 invoices not furnished in GSTR 1, 4 lakh, nil. Nothing is available. Refer note 2. Input tax credit in respect of any supply of goods or service or both is available to a registered person only inter alia. Inter alia means amongst the other things. Do we have to write this in exam? No. If the details of the invoice or debit note in respect of said supply has been furnished by supplier in statement of outward supply that is GSTR 1, and such details have been communicated to recipient of such invoice or debit note in the manner specified under section 37. Thus, in respect of 20 invoices not furnished in GSTR 1, no ITC is available. Now, they have written like this. You can simply write invoices or debit note furnished by supplier in their GSTR 1 and communicated to recipient in GSTR 2B, then only ITC is allowed, otherwise not allowed. Hence, for 20 invoices, ITC is not eligible. Okay. So, answer would be 6 lakh. Next. 8th. Examine whether the supplier of goods is liable to get registered in the following independent cases. They have asked registration, huh? Okay. Rudra Builders of Rohini, Delhi, is exclusively engaged in intrastate taxable supply of building bricks. Amendment. I hope you remember this. Its aggregate turnover in the current financial year is 23 lakh. Okay, tell me, for exclusive supply of goods in the state Delhi, what would be your eligible threshold limit? Actually, it is 40 lakh. But 40 lakh is not available if you are engaged in supplying building bricks. Now, this is recent amendment. Hence, over here, what is the limit? 20 lakh. Okay, 20 lakh. They have exceeded 20 lakh. Hence, you are liable to register. Next, Hira of Himachal Pradesh is exclusively engaged in intrastate taxable supply of footwear. His turnover in the current financial year from Himachal Pradesh showroom is 32 lakh. Okay, so Himachal Pradesh eligible threshold limit for supply of goods. Why goods? Because footwear is goods. So 40 lakh. But wait, he has another showroom in Nagaland. Oh, Nagaland is under special category states. Tripura, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram. The threshold limit is 10 lakh. So for total, 10 lakh will be applicable with a turnover of 11 lakh in current financial year. So 32 plus 11 is 43 lakh. Obviously, they have exceeded 10 lakh and hence they are liable to register. But in which state? In both the state, Nagaland and Himachal Pradesh, because they are engaged in taxable supply in both the state. Now, let us revise this concept of threshold limit. You must have done in your way, that is no problem, but you can also refer to this chart. Under section 22 subsection 1, threshold limit is exclusive. If you are exclusively engaged in supply of goods, then if you are belonging to Tanam state, Tanam stands for Tripura, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram. If you belong to Tanam, then if your aggregate turnover does not exceed 10 lakh, you are not eligible to register. But when you exceed 10 lakh, then you are liable to register. If you belongs to Sampute, Sampute stands for Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Puducherry, Uttarakhand, Telangana, TE, Telangana. If you belong to Sampute, if your aggregate turnover does not exceed 20 lakh, you are not liable, but it exceeds, then you are liable to register. Others, other than Tanam and Sampute, if you are exclusively engaged in supply of goods, then your enhanced limit of 40 lakh will be applicable. Assam, in Assam 40 lakh is applicable. Student do this mistake. They consider this A as Assam, but this is Arunachal Pradesh, okay? Alright. If you are exclusively supplying services like chartered accountant or goods plus services, then if you belong to Tanam state, Tripura, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, aggregate turnover 10 lakh is applicable. If you exceed, you are liable to register. And other than Tanam, 20 lakh is applicable. However, for 40 lakh enhanced limit, this is additional provision. 40 lakh limit is not applicable if person engaged in making supplies. People listen, the same provision you can find under composition scheme too, but there is a difference. Under composition scheme, you have only manufacturer of notified goods. But under this registration, you have person engaged in making supplies. That means traders are also covered here. Okay. Of the following: ice cream and other edible ice, whether or not containing cocoa, pan masala, tobacco and manufactured tobacco substitutes. Aerated water is not there. In composition scheme it was there, but over here it is not there, huh? Fly ash bricks or blocks. Now this has amended. Building bricks, bricks of fossil mills and earthen or roofing tiles. Total 7 items. Total 7 items. Do we have to remember? Yes. Okay, this is amendment. You have to remember. They will ask amendment. So please be prepared. So over here, how will you write your answer? This 2 point can come for 5 mark question, huh? And this is very easy. This is cash marks. So please don't lose these marks. How will you write? That you need to learn. Pay attention. As per section 22 of CGST Act, read with notification number 10/2019 CT, all this you don't have to write. Chill. You have to write section 22 of CGST Act. A supplier is liable to get registered in the state or union territory from where he makes taxable supply. Don't forget to write taxable supply of goods and or service if his aggregate turnover in a financial year exceeds the threshold limit. The threshold limit for a person making exclusive intrastate. Don't forget to write intrastate. Why? Because if you do interstate, it is compulsory registration na? Under section 24. So don't forget to write intrastate. Taxable supplies of goods is as under. 10 lakh for special category states of Tripura, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram. 20 lakh for states namely Sampute, and 40 lakh for rest of India except person engaged in making supplies of fly ash bricks or blocks, building bricks, bricks of fossil mills, earthen or roofing tiles, ice cream and other edible ice, whether or not containing cocoa, pan masala, tobacco and manufactured tobacco substitutes. First you have to write provision, then you have to write answer. In the light of aforementioned provision, the answer to the independent cases is as under. The benefit of enhanced threshold limit for registration of 40 lakh is not applicable for Rudra Brothers, even though it is exclusively engaged in intrastate taxable supply of goods in Delhi, as it is engaged in making supplies of building bricks. Thus, applicable threshold limit for registration for Rudra builders in the given case is 20 lakh. Thus, it is liable to get registered under GST as its turnover is more than threshold limit. Okay. Next. Hira could have been eligible for enhanced threshold limit of turnover of registration 40 lakh as he is exclusively engaged in interstate supply of goods. However, since Hira is engaged in supplying footwear from special category state, that is Nagaland, the threshold limit gets reduced to 10 lakh for all. Thus, Hira is liable to get registered under GST as his turnover exceeds 10 lakh. Further, he is required to obtain registration in both Himachal Pradesh and Nagaland as he is making taxable supplies from both the states. Ma'am, do we have to write exact like this? See, you have to write provision correctly. Then you can write in your own words, no problem. Okay. Next. 9th. Fashion Queen Limited, registered under GST and dealing in baby products, has an aggregate turnover of 40 crore in the preceding financial year. The tax consultant of Fashion Queen Limited advised it to issue E-invoices mandatorily. However, Fashion Queen Limited is of the view that since aggregate turnover is less than threshold limit applicable for E-invoicing, it is not required to issue E-invoice. You are required to comment upon the validity of advice given by tax consultant. Okay, you tell me what is the limit for E-invoicing now? It has been amended to 20 crore. Earlier it was 50 crore, but now it is amended to 20 crore. Hence, over here, Fashion Queen registered under GST. Fashion Queen registered under GST. Also, they are making taxable supply to whom? To registered person. B2B. B2B in export. B2B and export, e-invoicing is mandatory for turnover exceeding 20 crore. Hence, over here they have exceeded 20 crore. E-invoicing is mandatory and the advice given by tax consultant is valid in law. Okay, let us read. With effect from 1st April 2022, e-invoicing has been made mandatory for all the registered business. Do we have to write date? Registered business except specified class of person with an aggregate turnover in any preceding financial year from 17-18 onwards greater than 20 crore. In respect of B2B supplies, that is supply of goods or service or both to a registered person, or for exports. Don't forget to write aggregate turnover in any preceding financial year from 17-18 onwards, also B2B and export. Thus, advice given by tax consultant of Fashion Queen Limited for issuance of e-invoicing mandatorily in the current financial year is valid in law as the aggregate turnover of Fashion Queen has exceeded threshold limit of 20 crore in preceding financial year. Okay. Next. 9B. Ministry of Communications and Information Technology, a government department registered under GST, has an aggregate turnover of 52 crore in the preceding financial year. You are required to comment whether Ministry of Communication and Information Technology is required to issue e-invoices in the current financial year. Now, this was amendment of May 22 attempt. Government department are excluded. That means they don't have to issue e-invoices. E-invoices are exempt in certain category of person, including government department. Okay. So, how will you write answer? You have to write answer for all, like who all are exempt from e-invoices. Following entities are exempt from mandatory requirement of e-invoicing. One is Special Economic Zone, SEZ unit. Then insurer or banking company or financial institution including NBFC. Now, this 4 person you have to remember because to them even invoice is not applicable. They have another criteria. So, how come e-invoicing is applicable? So, this you have to remember. Insurer or banking company including NBFC, GTA supplying service in relation to transportation of goods by road in a goods carriage, supplier of passenger transportation service because they issue ticket, person supplying service by way of admission to exhibition of cinematographic films in a multiplex screen because they issue e-ticket, electronic ticket, and government, department and local authority. Thus, above mentioned entity are not required to issue e-invoices even if the turnover exceeds 20 crore in preceding financial year from 17-18 onwards. Thus, Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, being a government department, is not required to issue e-invoices in current financial year even if its aggregate turnover exceeds 20 crore. And the last, this is also based on amendment. Aadhaar authentication is not required for persons who are already registered under GST. Is it so? No, it is also required, correct? And there is amendment. New rule 10B have come. So, you have to write entire provision. The given statement is incorrect. Aadhaar authentication has been made mandatory for the new registrant as well as for the existing registrants. With regards to existing registrants, Section 25(6)(a) of CGST Act stipulates that every registered person shall undergo authentication or furnish proof of possession of Aadhaar number in the prescribed form, manner and time. New Rule 10B of CGST Rule 2017 prescribes the manner in which Aadhaar authentication needs to be done by registered person. A registered person who has been issued a certificate of registration under GST shall, means compulsory, undergo authentication of Aadhaar number. Now, earlier also it was there, but they have extended the list. If you are proprietorship firm, proprietor has to undergo Aadhaar authentication. What do you mean by Aadhaar authentication? Nothing. You just have to go to registration certificate. There would be one column Aadhaar authentication. Write your Aadhaar number. You will get OTP linked in your mobile number. You have to write OTP and then it's done. It is just simple process. But if you don't have Aadhaar, then there is a problem. Okay. So over here they say if you are proprietorship firm, proprietor has to undergo Aadhaar authentication. If you are partnership firm, any partner. If you are HUF, Karta. If you are company, then your MD or WTD, managing director or whole-time director. If you are AOP, BOI or society, then any member of the managing committee can undergo Aadhaar authentication. If you are trust, then trustee in the board of trustee should undergo Aadhaar authentication. And of the authorized signatory. So obviously authorized signatory, you know in tax invoice you have authorized signatory mandatory. Hence authorized signatory also have to undergo Aadhaar authentication in order to be eligible for following purpose. Why would they undergo Aadhaar authentication? They are already registered, but because of following reason. For filing application for revocation of cancellation, Rule 23. For filing refund application in form RFD01 or for refund of IGST paid on goods exported out of India. Ma'am, we are not doing any of this. Still, it is mandatory. You have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. First proviso to section 25(6)(a) of CGST Act provides that if an Aadhaar number is not assigned to existing registered person, some people might say that Aadhaar authentication, I have applied for Aadhaar number but they have not allotted me Aadhaar number. So they say no problem, just provide alternate or viable means. What is that? Let's see. Such person shall be offered alternate and viable means of identification in the prescribed manner. Such manner are under Rule 10B, that is, if Aadhaar number has not been assigned to person required to undergo authentication of Aadhaar number, such person shall furnish the following. They say, okay, no problem, show me your Aadhaar enrollment ID slip, and then they require your identity. So identity can be of any of the following. It can be a bank passbook with photograph or voter ID card issued by Election Commission of India or passport or driving license. Out of 4, any one document and Aadhaar enrollment ID slip. If you provide to me, it would suffice. But wait, once you get your Aadhaar number, please do Aadhaar authentication within 30 days. See, however, once Aadhaar number is allotted to such person, he shall undergo the authentication of Aadhaar number within 30 days of the allotment of Aadhaar number. The aforesaid Rule 10B shall not be applicable to person notified under section 25(6)(d) of CGST Act. That is, to persons exempt from Aadhaar authentication. Now, RTPs are very, very important, student. You cannot miss RTP. Okay, we have solved entire RTP. After this video, just go through once with your RTP and you are good to go along with your amendments. Okay, all the very best. Thank you so much.